On Georgia for today's Senate runoff elections, and there is plenty at stake. In fact, the balance of power in Congress hinges on what happens with these two races.
Here to break it all down for us right now is Professor Stephen Caliendo from North Central College. Good morning to you. Nice to have you.
Good morning to both of you.
And boy, is it an understatement. All eyes are focused on this race. Explain to our viewers here in Chicago why what happens there should matter to us here.
It's really amazing, and we're typically are ready on election night every 2 years to know that the control of Congress is up for grabs. But because only a handful of states have runoff elections, or maybe occasionally have a special election, it's rare that we have one day where it really matters this much. The Senate is controlled by Republicans and has been for some time, but it's only a two-seat majority at this point. And so both of these Republicans who are incumbents are at stake. Possible lose their seat today. If the Democrats can win, we'll make it a 50-50 tie. And when there's a tie in the Senate, the Vice President of the United States can cast a tie-breaking vote. So if it gets to 50-50, that means effectively the Democrats have control of the Senate, which means that they have control of both houses of Congress.
Well, if we go back to the November election, a lot of people would argue that the red state remained red. It was just more of a repudiation against Donald Trump that saw him lose that state to Joe Biden. That said, here we are, and with so much at stake, what do you think needs to be done on behalf of the GOP to galvanize people to go to the polls today?
Yeah, I mean, there's already been $500 million spent on these two races just on the runoffs in the last few weeks. Certainly, the get out the vote was a big part of that. Both parties want to make sure that the voters who support them either vote today or already voted. 3 million Georgians already voted in this election. And so it's really important that the people stay focused and understand that there are a number of states where populations are shifting and where messages are shifting as a result of policy preferences that used to be reliably red that are starting to be a little bit more on the purple side, if you might say. And so typically we don't get a big turnout in special elections or runoff elections, but the turnout seems to be higher in this one. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And I'm wondering, too, with everything that's currently going on, the president was there this week, yesterday, talking not so much about the runoff, but about voter fraud in his race.
Right.
And there were some concerns that might cause people to stay home, thinking that there is election fraud going on.
It's hard to know what the outcome of that will be, but certainly it's not helpful to Republican efforts to get out the vote if the leader of the party and, of course, the leader of the nation is saying that you can't trust the way elections are run in the state of Georgia. And so, I don't know for sure that means that people won't vote at all because they don't think the results can be trusted, or if they'll be all that more encouraged to go out and make sure that the margin is sufficient enough that if there is any foul play. But the fact of the matter is that the state is controlled by Republicans, and the electoral process is a state-controlled process controlled by Republicans. And so people should have a lot of faith in the fact that the elections are fair and in Georgia.
From North Central College, he is Professor Stephen Caliendo. Professor, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.